What's going on, guys? Today we're doing a move called the reverse helix. Here is what it looks like. That's the move. Here is a slow-mo. So an interesting thing about this trick is there is going to be in the description, there's going to be a couple tricks that will help you learn this trick, but the thing with these tricks in the description is not only will they help you, they will also hurt you. Because in the description there's going to be tricks like the reverse behind the 8-ball, right, which is something like that, which the reverse behind the 8-ball is the same fingers, same type of pattern, except the timing is completely different. And so if you've already practiced the reverse behind the 8-ball, it will really throw you off when you're trying to learn this trick. Another one that's in the description is the carousel, right, which looks like that. So it's very similar, 3 of the same sort of rolls, except because of the way you go into the second roll in the carousel, the timing is completely different as well. And so this is a completely separate trick that involves very similar motions. So if you know those ones, it'll help you, but at the same time, really the only way to get this trick down is just to practice this trick, which is the case for most things. So with the move of the hour, the reverse helix, right, looking something like that. Let's get into it. To begin this move, you're going to start off holding the bite handle in the same kind of a grip that you would use, so your thumb's on the bite handle, your forefingers behind, to do a orbit, right, the exact same kind of grip. Of course, you should know that. One thing to note, this is a pretty advanced trick, I'd say. And so if you don't know the orbit, you probably shouldn't be doing this trick. Now, you got this, the orbit positioning here. And what happens during this trick is in the midst of the orbit, you're going to transition onto your index finger, all right, for the roll. Now, one move that will really help with this is the move I mentioned earlier, the reverse behind the 8-ball. So you should know it. The reverse behind the 8-ball will really help with this transition. It won't help with the rolls too much. Now, so anyways, what you're going to do, you're going to take the bite handle, you're going to fling it over your thumb, you're going to go into an orbit. Right about at the point when the blade is facing you in the orbit, so very soon into it, is the point, the transition point, which is the point when you're going to transition on your index finger. In order to do that, what you're going to do is after you throw out the bite handle, you're going to take your index finger and you're going to place it alongside your thumb in a position something like this. So you see my index finger is right at the base of my thumb here, and my thumb is over top. So when I throw out the orbit, it rolls around my finger. I take my index finger, I place it in that position I showed, and what will happen is you'll see the orbit rolls around about halfway at my thumb, and my index is lined up in such a way that after it rolls off my thumb, it winds up right above my first knuckle, which is the perfect position for the roll, right? And so the position here depends on where the middle of my thumb is and where the first knuckle of my index finger is, right? So you want to be lined up right. And this will be something you'll get with practice. This is something you should have kind of already figured out with the reverse behind the 8-ball if you did that trick, because it's a very similar kind of transition. Now, the thing with the reverse behind the 8-ball transition is it's really easy to slow down and you can get it kind of sloppy. The thing with this move is that the transition from your thumb to your index finger really has to be very seamless. If there's any kind of a hang-up or any kind of a weird thing, you're not going to be able to get enough spin, and it's really just not going to work. And so that is one of the really hard parts of this trick, is really getting a fluid transition. And because it's kind of a weird transition, that'll take a while to do. But what you can do, what I'm going to invite you to do is, basically we're just going to practice the transition along with the next part of the move. So what happens is you throw out the orbit, right? You get your index alongside, you go for the roll here, and so it'll transition off of your thumb onto your index, your palm goes above the knife, and it'll go into this kind of a rotation here, all right? And with this roll, with the carousel and the reverse behind the 8-ball, what you do is after the transition, right, you go on your index finger and you really got to push to keep things going. For this move, you don't want to push at all. Any push that you give after this first little transition here is just going to cause the knife to open up and fly off of your hands because it's an open roll and you don't have a lot of momentum. And so what you want to do to begin practicing this move is you do the roll, you do the transition, you let it spin around your index finger, and when it gets past, when the blade gets to the point where it's facing towards your right side, right? So right after the transition, right, it's facing towards you, it's facing to your left, and right when it's facing to your right and you're pushing on the bite handle, you're going to want to give it a little bit of a push and a pull. And you're going to want to wind up doing it's more of a pull and less of a push. You're going to want to do the roll, the transition, and you want to do a hook. All right, so you do the roll, you do the transition, and you do a hook towards you. And what that will do is hopefully, if you're doing it right, you can catch the knife on your index finger, like so. You're going to catch it at first, you're going to be catching it a lot like this on the safe handle. And so what that'll look like is something like this, all right, where you can catch the crook of the knife on your index finger, like so. So it rolls around your thumb. You do this transition. As it's transitioning, you just let it be. It rolls around your finger. Right when it gets to right about this point, you're going to do a pull and a hook, and hopefully you're going to catch the handle here. And what I want you to do, don't even worry about the last roll, just get the transition down with the hook, like so. And that hook is really the key, this hook in here. That is where the magic happens, all right? So if you can get the hook, you're in business. You're ready to be practicing. So one thing you'll note about the hook is a lot of the times when you do it, right, you'll catch on the safe handle here. So you're throwing it with the bite handle, it rolls around, goes around your index finger, and you hook it in with the safe handle. That's fine at first. But the real goal here is what you want to do is you want to be able to hook either in the middle of the handle, right, so not on the safe handle, or best the bite handle, all right? And so the only thing that changes that is how good of a transition you do, right? So if you do a really nice transition, you can see there, I got a really nice roll around. There was lots of time, and so when I hook, I'm hooking the bite handle here. And that's perfect. That's exactly what you want to do, basically. So just practice this transition, this hook, until you can get it so you're hooking onto the bite handle and not the safe handle. That's just going to take some practice, getting your transitions down. Once you've hooked the bite handle, the next step is very easy. All you got to do is you just take your last 3 fingers, you're going to extend them around the safe handle. Your palm will be downwards, right, because of course the knife just rotated around your finger. Your palm is downwards. You've caught the bite handle. You're going to extend your last 3 fingers around the safe handle, which will give you a nice grip here. And all you got to do is you got to take your palm and turn it upwards, like so. And when you do that, you get kind of a wrist pass motion going. And you can stick your thumb in on the safe handle and go into another orbit. Right, so you do the first orbit, you do the transition, you do this hook, you extend, you catch, palm up, thumb in, and around. And then the thing is, right, this move is all about getting that fluid transition and then doing that hook. There's not really any of a Chaplin kind of motion going on here. Really, it's a good transition which allows a spin, a free spin to happen around your index finger, and there's a hook when you catch it. So that's the key to this move. And this is quite a little bit of a tricky thing because a lot of the times, right, like I was saying, with the reverse behind the 8-ball, you're always used to trying to really do a good push, a push around. That was obviously too much of a push. But the point is you're trying to really control that under rotation. Whereas for this move, there's really not a lot of control happening. It's more of just a hook, a catch, and the orbit, just like that. So Hope you guys like this one. This one is a little bit tricky, but I know you guys can do it. If you can do the moves below, you will be able to do this. It's just going to take you quite a bit of time of just practicing that transition and really getting it fluid so you get a nice spin around your index finger, so that way you can do a nice hook and so on and so forth. So hope you guys like that one. Thanks for watching. Hope that helped out. Peace.